This is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive if that's the name you prefer. It's a classic side-scrolling platformer by Sega, where the King of Pop tries to rescue children. It's also a game that I don't own, hence why we won't actually be looking at it today. This is Michael Jackson The Experience. Like Moonwalker, it's a video game that stars, you guessed it, Michael Jackson. Unlike Moonwalker, it's a rhythm game, not a platformer. Also unlike Moonwalker, it's a video game I actually own. It's kind of a big factor in determining whether I review something, you know. So what is The Experience? Well, The Experience is a game that was developed and released by Ubisoft in 2010 for pretty much every console under the sun then, and was later ported to every console under the sun now. You might have noticed I said this came out in 2010, which is a year after Jackson's death. Well, I mean, what better way to celebrate the life of a beloved and highly influential musician than by making merchandise to capitalize off their death? Now, most versions of The Experience are quite frankly fucking terrible. They're just crappy Just Dance clones. The DS version is different, and that's the version we're looking at today. This version does more of its own thing. It's a rhythm game, but more of the style of Elite Beat Agents or Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy instead of just some weird Connect Wii dance game. This game has its own attitude as well, I notice. Like, even on the back of the box, you can tell that just by the little captions here. Tap and slide markers to the beat to unlock new tracks, challenges, and bonuses, and immerse yourself in the world of Michael Jackson. I can only imagine what the world of Michael Jackson is like.
I'd heard people saying you all were from Illinois.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have asked about that. What a strange specimen this game is. I honestly went into this with extremely low expectations. My only prior experience with this game before I saw this DS version at a thrift store for $2, yes, that's right, this game cost me a whopping toonie, was playing the Xbox 360 version with my friend Olivia. And honestly, I thought that was shite. It was just a crappy version of Just Dance, and Just Dance already is pretty crappy. But is this game actually worth playing? Well, the answer may surprise you, and I'm going to tell you why. So first things first, let's get on with the story of this game. And the story is, there is no story. Now, let's get on to the presentation. You pop the game in your DS, start it up, and you get greeted with a very plain title screen, asking you to tap to continue. Then you're greeted with a menu that gives you some options, including a jukebox mode, where you can listen to songs you've already unlocked, settings. Then we get to tour mode, which is the meat and potatoes of this game. In tour mode, you get given a set of 2 or 3 of Michael's pieces, and then you have to play to them. Yeah, play. Is that to turn? Play the game to them? You know what I mean. Then, after you complete each set, you unlock even more music, up to 15 or 20 songs. It's something like that. One of those numbers that I couldn't have been bothered to look up. Now, I should probably mention how the game looks when you're playing through the songs, and honestly, it's not pretty. I mean, it's serviceable, though the notes themselves that you have to tap look like they're stolen from some sort of clip art, and oh, Michael. What'd they do you, Michael? You look even worse than you did in South Park when your plastic surgery went wrong.
My blanket! Let's play, blanket!
Now, talking about the game modes, let's get on to gameplay, and the gameplay is actually surprisingly good in this. It's a game in the same vein, as I mentioned, of Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy, and Elite Beat Agents. You have dots coming to the beat, you have to tap them, sometimes you have to slide the dots, and occasionally a weird spinner thing appears that you have to spin around with your stylus. You might have mentioned I said stylus. This game doesn't use any buttons, it uses the touchscreen, and for a rhythm game like this, it works surprisingly well. The controls aren't perfect. Playing it on my 2DS, as I don't have an original DS model here, I noticed that sometimes on the slider, you have to hit it just after you're supposed to in order for it to register. But then sometimes it works like it's supposed to and you end up missing it. The sliders seem very finicky, but otherwise it works really well. Throughout each piece, the more notes you get right and the more combos you get, the higher score multiplier you get and the more points you get. The more points you have, the more stars you get, and if you get all 5 stars on stage, then you get a crown. It's addicting. It's a type of game I could see myself playing on the bus. Obviously, being a Michael Jackson game, the music's a huge part of it. Now, instead of using glorious 16-bit renditions like you've been hearing in the background because I've been trying to avoid copyright strikes, this game uses the actual recordings of Michael Jackson's music. And even with DS compression, they sound alright. And granted, most of the time I was playing this on a 2DS, which has a mono speaker, so take that into account as well. And the song selection itself is actually pretty good, for the most part. Yes, you have your stuff like Bad and Smooth Criminal on there, but it doesn't have anything from history on it, which is a shame because that's my favorite of Michael Jackson's albums. I mean, Stranger in Moscow is amazing. It also doesn't have Thriller, though, which is really surprising. Really, guys? You couldn't put Thriller on there? Like, that's the thing that even people who claim they hate Michael Jackson love. Now, let's finally address the question I'm sure everyone at home is asking about this game. Would I recommend it, and is it worth the price of admission? And the answer is, yeah, actually. Sure, it's a flawed game, and while the soundtrack and gameplay is addicting, it probably will wear thin after a week or two. But it's a game I found at a thrift store for $2, and on Amazon ranges from about $5 to $7, or $10 to $12 if you go for the 3DS version, which, while I haven't personally played it, has better graphics and less compressed music. So, I definitely recommend it. It's a game that, while flawed, you should definitely pick up if you see it while out and about. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.